from every U.S. service branch. Their sacrifice will not be in vain, nor will it be forgotten, for it is because of these men and other service members like them who never came home that we remain free.
Lost on January 18th, 1953, still missing in action, but not forgotten by us.
Paul Morley, United States Navy.
Gerald Stewart, United States Coast Guard.
Winfield Hammond, United States Coast Guard.
Ronald Beam, United States Navy.
William McClure, United States Navy.
Carl Tornell, United States Coast Guard.
Joseph Bridge, United States Coast Guard.
Clifford Byers, United States Navy.
Tracy Miller, United States Coast Guard.
And my beloved grandfather, Lloyd Smith Jr., United States Navy.
And my mother's beloved husband, Dwight Angel, United States Navy. Thank you.
Thank you. Where's my person over there?
Oh, I'm sorry.
There it is.
I was taking pictures.
It's
and
okay.
texting
We're
just
good.
one.
We're not perfect, so that's fine.
Can we
you
the
so
separate one? With
Yeah.
You? Yeah.
Let's try it right here. Let's try this spot right here.
I feel like you know the drill now. If you don't mind slipping this up for sure.
Just waiting to get to that point.
Where are you guys staying?
We're at Tapestry. It's over in the West End, like it's a Hilton.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
pretty nice. It's a nice area over there. So, you got the college and so.
Have you had people come up to you and you explain? The
Yeah,
situation?
when we first got here, some people stopped and asked what was going on, and I explained them, and they said, "Oh, they had like no idea that it's like this."
Well,
So,
it's not only this, but it turns out veterans also have misspellings.
right.
Or the Vietnam, excuse me.
Oh yes.
Can I get you to move to come up just a little bit? There you go. Just turn your body just the other way. There we go.
me.
Yeah. I don't know my left and my right. today. I'm good.
This will be the entire time. If you can
Yep.
say your first and last name, spell that.
Yeah, Terry Mumley, TerriMumley.
From Knoxville, just outside Knoxville.
Oxford, Knoxville, Powell.
Just if you could explain to us what you guys just announced months ago.
So we just announced that we are here to honor 11 men that did not come home, and they're also not on this wall, and that we are going to the Senate Armed Committees tomorrow to file a congressional investigation into what has happened here.
Have you made aware the DOD that you guys will plan to do this? And
Um,
any response at all since
no.
I know the national news also.
Yeah, the national news has really picked this up. We sent a letter to the DOD about 3 months ago now. We've heard nothing from them. They did tell us that they're going to relook at cases at the end of this month, but they don't give you any information about that. We'll look at the case and we'll let you know, well, can we put forth stuff to you? They don't give you the means of doing that, but they say.
How frustrating it for you that you don't hear back and now you're taking the extra length to go to Congress to get this addressed?
It's heartbreaking. They fought for their country and they died, and the Department of Defense should be the people that understand that the most. but they don't. They don't answer you. They don't give you any answers, except the straight line that they've always had, that this is what we say. So this is just the way it is.
Why do you think there's such a slow response, or maybe even pushback?
So yep. For us, some of the pushback I think comes from, we're looking at millions of dollars around us right now, and to know that it was done wrong and now it has to be taken down and spend millions of dollars to fix it again. For us as families, we have a line that we always say, that they deny until we all die. And there's no family members left to speak up and say, okay, hold on just a minute here. I mean, that may sound funny to people that are not inside this realm, but that's how family members feel, that they just continue to deny things until there's nobody left to question it.
So tomorrow when you go to Congress, are there any other plans, or do you have any meetings, anyone specifically?
We were supposed to meet with Senator Burchett. DC.
Especially this part.
Okay. We were supposed to meet, my senator from Tennessee, Senator Burchett, was going to try to meet with me, talk to me on the phone. He wasn't able to set up a meeting. He was really busy. I do know that Senator Bennett from Colorado, we're hoping to meet with him. We were waiting to hear back. We sent an email to one of his people today. They know we're here. They know why we're here. We've kept them pretty much in the loop with everything. And it's been kind of funny to me, they don't even answer those emails. We send in, we say we're going to meet with the news, the Koreans are going to be here, there's a lot of people that want to talk about this, and they just don't even answer us.
Yeah.
So to us, they work for us, supposedly, but they're not working for us.
So there's some frustration.
There's some frustration with them as well, yeah. And I don't know if they're just getting so much pushback about it or what, because it's so in everybody's face. I don't know.
Is it a letter that you guys will be bringing? Or
What was it?
what are you bringing in tomorrow specifically?
We will be bringing, it spells out the problems with the wall and the problems the family members are having with it, and then it asks for a congressional investigation into how this happened.
Do you have a copy of that? Right now?
We probably do. I can see if Megan has it.
No
I'm
worries.
sure she does. So,
Just give us, I know you've already talked about this, but just for us, just a brief background on your grandfather.
yep.
What
So my grandfather, Lloyd Smith Jr., he fought in World War II, and then he again joined the Navy after World War II to fight in Korea. He was on a flight doing reconnaissance photos, so they would every day tell him where they wanted to fly and get pictures, so they could see the offshore batteries on the edge of China that were firing onto ships and planes and everything else during the Korean War. And they were flying a mission that morning, and they started taking offshore fire, and they had to ditch after losing an engine, and they went into the water. They all got in the water, everybody made it in, and then the sea started to pick up. My grandfather was seen drifting towards shore. He was never seen again, him and another gentleman. And then another plane later, about 8 to 9 hours later, they were in the water for over 24 hours before they got rescued. A Coast Guard plane came in to rescue them, got whoever was left that was there, tried to take off, and then crashed in high seas. And so now 2 planes were in the water and 2 set of men were in the water. And it was probably 4 hours later, finally a ship was able to get in there. It's kind of shallow there, so they couldn't get ships in either because they were afraid to run aground. And the whole time they're taking fire.
So a total of 11 people.
11 men did not come home,
Including your grandfather.
including my grandfather, did not come home.
One of my last few questions is, you know, on top of all this, there's the misspellings of the names.
Right.
How did you guys find out about the misspellings and what your reaction to that?
So we were here when they dedicated the wall. Thought he was almost there.
Almost there.
Okay. We were here when they dedicated the wall, and we actually heard from some family members here that they weren't spelled correctly, the names. So a lot of the names that are misspelled are American Indian names, Puerto Rican names because they use surnames, ones that were just blatantly not spelled right. There's a gentleman whose actually first name is HR, and they actually put it on the wall as HOW as his first name. Like, so somebody just looked at it and said, well, H and R, and we'll just make up something, is basically how it looks, because that was not his name. So that's how we first found out, and then since then we've heard from a lot of family members. They've come here. Misspelled names are probably, I would say, I mean, they're estimating that they could be 1,000 are misspelled. At least 1,000.
What do you think it was? Just lack of oversight?
I just think it was lack of oversight and not checking what they were using. They were using old lists, they were using old punch card lists. So punch cards could only take 25 characters, so you're missing somebody's name. So they would just cut it off at some point. And so those were the records they used. Those were not, and they had the correct records that they could have used. The Barker brothers out of Texas have offered it hundreds of times to the Department of Defense. And for some reason they wouldn't take it. And so now this is what we have. It's wrong. So.
And no, I was going to ask, really just wrap it up. Is there anything else
Yep.
you want to say?
I just want to tell to American people that, you know, a lot of us don't have a place to go to honor somebody because their bodies have never come home, and they'll never come home. I mean, we'll never get my grandfather's body back. It's somewhere buried on the land in China. That's nothing that'll ever happen. And to not have a place to go and read his name, and I think the American people just need to know that this means a lot to family members, and for it to be wrong, it's just horrendous, and it's such a slap in the face to those that were lost.
And it sounds like it's just because of the geography of where the plane went down. That
Yes, so for theirs it is. So many times during the Korean War, the theater changed of where we were fighting. So China kind of got drawn into it as because China had prisoner of war camps that the North Koreans used. So at the time, China wasn't officially in the war, but we kind of got drawn into it. And so as they were doing these missions directed by the president so we could keep those shipping lanes open, the theater of operations changed.
so it's a combat zone that's changed.
It's the combat zone totally changed.
And because it was outside this.
Outside this
Correct.
line that they've come up with by the Department of Defense, which is actually, it's only 30 miles outside the line, which is only like a 10-minute flight.
And that's what they told you?
No, we know that by looking at the lines. They told us it was outside the line, but we know what the lines look like because we've seen
Well,
them.
I'm saying that you did hear from them that it was outside.
That's what they've said for a while, that
Okay,
was outside the
so you
line.
pursued.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you guys for coming. We appreciate it. Thank you.
We can turn off the gyro. I think we're good.
Thank you.
We